meet others who feel the same way. So, well, do you have any questions, or maybe I should just introduce myself to those who don't know? And you know me?
No idea.
Okay.
You're some guy I just met.
Well, my name is Running Red, and most people just call me Red. I live in Maine, used to live in Massachusetts, and before we all met each other online, and you could just go online and meet everybody, I spend my times walking around at night, doing some light hiking, and trying to understand some of what I was feeling, and realizing there was a major wolf component to it. I didn't feel fully human. What today might be called a little species dysmorphia, kind of like gender dysmorphia, where you look male but you don't feel fully male. You start thinking there's a lot of female elements, or vice versa, male. So it's like with species where there just feels something about wolf or lion, dragon, that just feels more natural. And thought I was just weird because in the books, werewolves, people they can turn into wolves. I could, was I just deluding myself? Found a group on horror werewolves that was, and this is like pretty much forums at the time. You just post, whether it's Star Trek, whatever you're interested in, news, that sort of thing. And this is part of a group of discussing movies, but it got taken over by people saying, I kind of feel like a werewolf. And then they said, oh yeah, I'm the same way. So when I found it, I was like, if I'm crazy, there are other people who feel the same way, so I'm not alone. And a lot of the talk isn't just about how we feel, it's just having people who you feel a connection to, that they're not going to judge you because they know what's going on. So I'm friends with a lot of those online, and if you ever get Telegram or Twitter, there's a couple of groups to follow. Wolf Daughter has a few. But that's just how I got into it, and learning more, talking to others, and just getting a better sense of what's kind of going on in the headspace.
Here's a mom trying to learn about this whole thing because she's come out and told me, that she's a therian, that she feels this way. So she's like, I want you to learn more about it. So that's why, I want to support her on her journey, if you will.
Why we call it therian? I don't know how much research you've done. It kind of started with all horror werewolves.
Because it sounds cool.
If you ever see AHWW, that's kind of what it's referring to. Now it's all on Google Groups now. If you do a search for the old stuff, you'll find all my old posts there. 20 years ago, embarrassing me.
Come back to front.
I've seen some.
We, oh god, there's one called Were Pigs. We're all talking about our weight. And looking back, I'm like, oh my god, I haven't made a dent in my diet in like 25 years. But we call ourselves lycanthrope because that's the term. But a lot of people don't identify as wolf per se. And I've known some people who, you feel an animal connection. So you know the books, you know the movies, you're a werewolf, but you're like, it doesn't feel right. And then you think, and I've had friends who go this, they're like, I realized I was a lion, or fox, or dragon, whatever it is. They realize, wolf is kind of the default, but when you think about it, it's not exactly like that. So if you're not exactly like that, you don't want to kind of, lycanthrope is pretty much a werewolf. And it's like LGBTQ, like if you're trans, you're not gay or lesbian per se, you want to be more inclusive. Therian is Greek for beast, and used to refer to the Egyptian gods and stuff like that, beast gods. Therianthrope was referring to that sort of thing. It's just a fancy way of saying it. So they said, well, instead of wolf related, let's use a generic animal term, therianthrope, which usually gets shortened to therian. Some people use otherkin. Some who might feel more connected to the fae of. Sorry, I couldn't tell if you were gesturing or brushing your fur.
Brushing my fur.
Oh, okay, just check.
That's blaming myself.
So there's those who might feel a connection more to something more mystical. And to be honest, in some ways dragons, wolf, coyote, you can go visit them, you can see them. Dragons, you can't exactly visit in a zoo, so they're more mystical, so they're kind of a therian, but there may be other other entities. So otherkin kind of includes that as well. Of just, maybe it's a little close to vampire or angel. That's just some of what the terminology is. It's just ways of trying to explain it, and other people might see that and say, that term kind of resonates. Do a little research and then say, yeah, I think this feels right.
And then there's also ethereal mythic, which is like if you identify as like a mythical animal, you feel more related to like the Therian community more so than you would with like Fae or whatever. So they kind of combined it in Therian mythic.
Yeah, there's always going to be like little different people will come up with different terminology, little subgroups, and always some argument about what counts. Are you a person who thinks they're an animal? Are you a person who feels you have an animal soul? I would include those who have an animal spirit guide. I see it, and maybe it's because I'm old school, an animal connection on a sort of spiritual level. I've known coyote shaman, coyote as in the Native American character, and I'm learning more of my connection to him, that I do see myself as a wolf, and there's a lot that goes with a wolf. But as many of these people who know me, I'm a bit of a smartass. I love telling jokes, I love telling puns, I like keeping the mood light. That's more of a coyote thing. Native American trickster, who will pull pranks, and if you ever read the Native stories, oftentimes he's the butt of the joke. And that's to teach a lesson and to kind of lighten the mood. That's not really wolf thing, that's coyote. And if you ever see on Twitter any of the coyote furries, they're the, can I help you?
I was just saying hi. Seeing what's going
Hello.
on
Hello.
But yeah, there's that, so yeah, there's a whole lot that can kind of count. Although frankly, if somebody feels they belong, I'm willing to include them, because it's not something you can be objective about. There's no fit criteria, you can't just run like a scanner. And it's not someone's source who says, yeah, I have this received wisdom, or I meditated under a tree and here's my Buddhism, here's my other ism. We're all contributing, we're all adding to it. So it's like a Wikipedia in a way that, it's what we add to it. Anyone else have any thoughts? And again, this is meant to kind of ask questions, learn, just chat with each other. Great.
I think you have a bunch of introverts.
No, I get that.
Here to accompany him. I'm just here to learn mostly. It sounded pretty interesting, so.
Yeah, if you have any questions or some thoughts, we all have a perspective. So this isn't like me saying what it's about.
Right.
This is me getting people together and maybe explain Howl. Oh, and I don't know, were you here last year? Okay. Behind us, Erin, in the very lovely tan kitsune, who was one of last year's guests of honor, not to disparage Rito, who mostly does dancing and singing. She gave a lovely talk on her experiences as a therian, as a furry, trans and other stuff, music, which you're probably going to be mostly known for. And thanks to Mr. Wolventary here, you should get in front of the camera at some point.
That's all you get.
He's
Okay.
recording, so
Here,
everyone's
this
going
guy.
to put it online. So if you want to check her YouTube for her talk,
It's on there. It's like 40 minutes long or something.
yeah. Everything else is music, and also, do you have any CDs for sale?
There's gonna be some for the charity.
Okay.
There'd be charity CDs, so that'd be good. And then I'll be donating some at my concert at 4 p.m. today. But yeah, Therian stuff is, well, as you've known me for a long goddamn time. So you've seen me go from like Esteban to buying my stuff, and then going, yep, this is me now, and then exploding out into what I am today.
Everything's a journey, and there is a lot. You say there's gender dysmorphia, species dysmorphia. There's kind of that same sense of not really feeling quite right, and it's possible to feel like I'm fine with having a human body. I just feel there's an extra bit to it. Are you familiar with gender dysmorphia?
Not too much, no.
It's-
I guess I'm just
Well, gender
opening
is.
myself up to it, you know?
It's kind of a term, maybe politically correct, or maybe trying to be a little more clinical for people who are trans. People who feel that their birth gender is not the true gender they have. So they'll dress differently, they'll get surgery. There's a lot of great people who vocal surgery to change, hormonal treatment, other stuff like that to get closer to the body they feel is right. Species dysmorphia would be a little harder. Maybe some Rogaine. There's some people who will do sharpening of teeth. Here leopard man on the Scottish coast or whatever. Most of it's just augment with costumes, but the sense that our human body is we feel more natural on all fours, or with a tail. So that's kind of the parallel thing. So, and gender, in some ways, there may be a lot of crossover. I think that once you start looking at yourself critically, then you are more open to saying, yeah, some of this doesn't feel right. So what else might not be right? Changing your hair color is easy. Changing other stuff a little harder, but you kind of want to aim towards who you are truly. And just the only reason I was bringing that up was a howl is kind of like a furry. When furries get together, they call it a furry. It could involve bowling. It could involve becoming a convention. Howl is just what therians call it, getting together. There's different groups in the Northwest, Colorado, where there's enough of a community to get together, maybe go camping, just hang out. Last year, a bunch of us got together to go to Wolf Hollow, which is in Ipswich.
Yeah. We went there last year for our birthday.
Yeah, we got together and just hung out and talked. And we just spent a couple of hours sharing with other people who got it, who understood. And that's what I want this to kind of be, and hopefully next year as well. Not a talk on theriantropy, not a meet and greet, just come hang out. If you want to talk therian, fine. If you just want to talk movies, like in the Telegram chat, it's not all therian talk all the time, any more than if there's a group for people from Maine, we're not all talking about Maine. If there's for black people aren't going to go on Telegram and talk about being black, they're going to talk about experiences that they know other black people would understand. So if you're coming online saying, yeah, what do you think of American Werewolf in London from a therian point of view, or what do you think of Star Trek? We'll talk about anything with people who are friends and close. So I just wanted to be kind of hanging out. If you want to bitch about stuff, if you just want to ask questions, judgment-free zone. And occasionally there can be help. So. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Anyone just want to share anything? In the back?
I'll share something. Finding a creative outlet is a really smart idea to cope with theriantropy. Because for me, I'm all species and sport. So I found a really good coping mechanism after years and years, and I wish I knew about it sooner, which is this. So this helps me a lot. But for everyone, it's different. Sometimes they find meditation works, or they get creative. They figure out what their third side looks like, persona for anyone who doesn't know, and then figure out what they look like, go through dreams, see what they look like. Try to figure out a way to bring it out in your daily life, and don't keep it bottled up inside, because I can tell you from experience right now, keeping it bottled up is not healthy. Because if you try that, well, it's like a pressure vessel. So the best advice I have is don't hide it, like embrace it and figure a way to be a creative outlet for it. I'm not saying just go run the woods on all fours and go bark. I'm just saying find something creative that works for you.
There's a lot of good ways to express it. Again, nothing wrong with going out in the woods, getting away to nature. Again, it depends on what you feel comfortable with. I'm guessing cat of some sort, or bunny. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't quite get your name.
Oh, Liz?
Liz.
I'm a wolf.
Yeah, sometimes the shape. I mean, this is wolf, but somebody can have a fox. But so you feel wolf inside, or just wolf spirit animal, or?
Wolf inside, yeah. I go out in the woods.
And you get to see. So I assume you live in the area if you're going to Wolf Hollow.
I live in Massachusetts, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm from there. So
We
yeah,
live right on like the Mass Rhode Island border to southern Mass.
I grew up in Foxborough.
Oh, North Attleboro.
So
You know, North Attleboro is
I
like.
used to work at Borders there. So
I worked at the first job in the mall. when
the
it first
I
opened.
would love to get these people to the Emerald Square Mall because of the store, some which I found only because I go visit for Christmas
Yeah.
for family. Wild Things.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, ask her how many Christmas
Oh,
presents she got
yeah,
from
she
the
told me,
stores
she
that
told me
opened
to
up.
go out and buy Christmas presents
For
for
herself.
myself so she can wrap them and give them to me.
Yeah.
And I bought them the whole store.
She came home, I'm like, oh my, I thought you'd come back with 2 or 3 things.
yeah, there's like three or four stores.
Yeah.
I'm blanking.
A
Oh,
lot of them closed though after the season.
yeah.
They were only there for the season.
Two of the
The one
Was
on
it
the
Wild
first
Things?
floor
The
is
one
still
where
there.
that they used to have a video store
Oriental
there.
Trading, or no, what is
Elite
it?
Trading, that was it.
Elite
No,
Trading is still there.
I have all that information at home. I got their Anubis and the Bast, and yeah, they have like a lot of Egyptian. They have a lot of face stuff, like the girl, the nubile girl with the wings cradling a panther. That's also a clock
Yeah.
type of thing, or the black velvet wolf painting.
Yep, she
I
does so
had the
much.
posters with the astral wolf head over a waterfall.
Yeah.
I had those. But yeah, they have a lot of stuff like that. It's just a bit of a drive from here, but
And there's only, that's like the only one that's left now, like the other ones that walk on the third.
yeah, they'll be
floor,
back.
Yeah, exactly, they'll be back.
I told her.
They gotta go, they got a concert thing coming up.
Oh,
As
yeah.
they do another event, but.
Yeah.
good luck, have fun.
Thank you for coming.
Doing
Thank you.
Oh, my God, it's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you all around the con.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say you have to buy product for that sort of thing, but it can
You're
enhance
drawn
it.
to it.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I've got stuff like that myself. I've got some wolf rings and Master Tiger Tourism.
Hey, you
I
guys,
go that area and Blue Hill. Used to go hiking that at night and think about a lot of stuff and try to understand it.
did you ever have a Noah's Arts? They've closed down years ago. It
Where is
was
that?
called Noah's Arts.
In which
It was really, well, it was more south, but when I lived in Florida in 2000, I think they were up here in Connecticut too. And the Discovery Store was another one. But they had a lot of wolf, not just wolf, but animal stuff, like animal bust. I have this very cool bust of a wolf's head, like very realistic. I gave it to Raven, and we have it hanging in our bedroom from them. And they were awesome because they had like literally elaborate Indian carpets with actual animals, different animals, not just based off of India, animals from India, but all over the world. And you had like lions, you had cheetahs, you had, oh my God, wolves, you had foxes, even some of the more obscure stuff like flying squirrels. I miss them. They closed down years ago, 15 years ago. I was curious if you ever heard of it or if you've seen it up here.
No, I don't remember seeing it anywhere in New England.
Yeah, they were cool. They were really cool, but too niche, I guess.
Yeah, that can happen. Not all malls are that great. I mean, the ones up here, the main mall could use better stores than others.
Yeah, that's true.
They're like all shut down right now, and the Emerald Square Mall, there's like nothing left right now.
Yeah, I thought that was more active, but again,
It was.
I see it around Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I lived down there, but
Yeah, they have the pop-up stores that'll do the season, and then it's like, they're all gone, and now it's like a ghost town. But I know she was.
so did you have any interesting stuff? Actually, well, I almost didn't recognize you because you didn't have your hat on.
Yeah.
He's got a wolf hat that's,
I haven't worn that in a year or two.
yeah, it's like, hey, you let your hair grow out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I let my hair grow out. Just like being a little hairy. Wish it was more on top.
Gotta do a-
Don't feel bad. I'm losing mine
There are
too.
pictures of me doing pigtails. So, and there's Jaxus, who I don't think is here yet, who he's young, he's got long hair, and I've done the braiding and the pigtails with him, but up until last week, my beard, winter growth, was thick enough I was able to slightly braid my beard. And that's more of the coyote side is, yeah, it looks silly, but
I'm not,
If-
I'm just,
Well, no.
it's my habit to just laugh at things.
But if you're seeing the Twitter feeds are full of a lot of negative stuff, and it can get a little bit down, and then you see some coyote people making some stupid jokes or some reindeer, some kangaroos.
Reindeer.
It's just like this
That's, we don't see too
Yeah,
many of
tell
those.
Renegade Rue I confused it with a reindeer.
That's good.
But-
That's, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of different. Again, it's not just wolf. So, whatever animal you feel comfortable in, and that can also connect with how you act. Wolves are going to be different than lions. They're in different variations of cat species, and I've also seen it as a source of strength. As an example, job interviews, or any other time that there's a bit of stress, where you're like, I need to meet with my manager tomorrow. They haven't been really clear on it because managers like screwing with people, and you're kind of nervous. Or it's a job interview and you really need the job. Well, the inner wolf animal, I found is a good way to strengthen that. It's like very much a part of yourself that says, we got this. We're going to be super cool. We're not timid. We're going to walk in there. We're going to be calm, collected. We're not asking them for a job. We're giving them the opportunity to employ us. And
You're
it's,
gonna get to that spot.
yeah, and again, it's different for everyone, but I have seen it as my inner wolf as, again, a resource to draw on. When I do a lot of running. Running Red isn't just a name. I do a lot of running. So, or walking, especially at a convention like this, and with a Fitbit. So if I'm on the treadmill trying to push it, and there's a part of me that likes to eat that says, stop, just get off the treadmill, go get some food. Another part of me is saying, no, we can do this. We can get to that next half mile. We can hit the goal we wanted. We can keep pushing. And it's just the part that can kind of keep me going when other parts would want to say to stop. Others see it as a source of creativity, like Aaron. And how about you?
Me?
Yeah.
What do I see it as? It's a spiritual thing I had for a while. When I lived in Mass, I found that I used to go in the woods too. I used to practice shamanism. That's what I did a lot of.
Well, yeah, there's a connection, and not everyone sees it as a spiritual thing. Just to throw that out there is that it's not, and I know this might concern some people, especially parents, is it's not really a religion. Although for myself there is a spiritual component, right? Shamanism is a good connection. I know several Christians, and I don't just mean somebody who they go to Mass like at Easter or Christmas. They live their lives like they believe Jesus would want, and do identify as a therian. Aaron, who just left, is an atheist, does not believe in a spiritual component, so there's a wide range out there. So it's kind of hard to pick it up. It's not a religion. It's not really spirituality. It's sort of a philosophy. It's just kind of thing that, you know, when you talk to others, they kind of get what you're saying. I mean, as somebody, does any of this resonate with you? Do any of this feel like this makes sense, or is it like I'm totally confused?
I get it, you know.
Oh, okay.
And kind of spiritual thing for me too, also a little bit psychological. Sometimes I'll like act like a wolf, like I'm not I'll growl or whimper and stuff, and people are like, what? I didn't even know there were any other therians like around Massachusetts, because I have never met anyone that looked online. I've always kind of wanted to meet another therian.
Admittedly, they're peppered. It integrates a lot into the whole fur fandom, so it's hard to differentiate between someone who's a therian and, you know, someone just enjoys the art, not spiritual thing, and they just want to do the fursuit thing. And so, and a lot of therians are guarded. They don't want to make it known who they are, what they are, or what they feel. Probably, likely, due to ridicule, or possible what they fear might be ridicule. Because there are a lot of people out there that may like, I'm not picking on anyone, just saying in general, because it does exist. A couple of furs out there that may just look down on Therian and say, why are you, it's not a spiritual thing, stop. What are you doing? And like that just shuts people down.
It's like you're taking it way too seriously, but
I've seen it.
Yeah.
But me, I've been in, and I actually found Therian right before I discovered furry, mostly. So for me, it's been both. And me, frankly, my thought is I don't care what other people think. And I'm also a brony. So I have, if anybody...
He's gonna be your best friend right
Yeah.
here, Elizabeth.
The thing which about brony is, to me, is we know we're watching a cartoon meant for little girls. Take care. Thanks for coming. That was a god. That was a wolf god. Yeah. That's his name. Yeah. Now I know it for all, but when you're watching a show, and you know, Lauren Faust wanted to make sure that it was accessible to everybody, but yeah, it's still a cartoon meant to sell toys aimed at little girls. We know that. So yeah, go ahead and make fun of us. We already know the jokes. We tell them to ourselves. And furry, I don't know if it's quite there yet. I mean, there's a lot of visibility with furry. We're looking to get more awareness and be concerned about the ridicule. And then if you're like, well, I do take it seriously because I don't just dress as a wolf. I see myself as a wolf. It can be a little bit hard. And yeah, there's a lot of people who they're in furry. They may not know there's a term for it. They just really like furry and not know that like these feelings I have, other people get them. I started a Telegram group of Therians for New England, partly because I met a few in the Maine fur community who also identified and were also nervous and didn't know who really to talk to. And I said, well, we've got a general group, people I've known forever, but yeah, you might not, they don't know these people. So they may not feel as comfortable talking to a stranger. So I said, well, okay, I'll make a group for just people who they know. Like, if they're in the Maine, they'll know Woven Terror, they know me, they'll know from the fur meets. And got surprised at how many people joined, how many people I had been friends with for years who I didn't know that's how they identified or saw themselves. And would be here if they weren't doing things at the
I
convention.
know the match game is going on.
Yeah.
Thanks, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot. It's like Erin I knew for a long time. So yeah, I was just creating a place where people could. Just checking the time, make sure I don't run over.
You're not even close to over, don't worry.
Yeah, just where you don't have to try to explain it too much because they understand some of the basics. There's a lot of people on Twitter. If you found
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm also on Therian Amino. I joined a forum. I don't really go on it. I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, first, you don't, the name of the forum? Which forum is it?
Could you look it up on your phone?
I literally joined it and made an introduction post, and then I never went back on it.
Oh.
I think it was
I have a lot like that.
Therian Guide. Yeah, Therian Guide forum.
Okay, I think I've heard of them. There's a lot of groups out there.
Yes.
One I'm on is Where List, and that's bare bones forum. Just a lot of text posts, and that had been around for a while. I knew the people who started it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Twitter, for Affinity.
Are wear cards still a thing?
Which one?
Wear cards.
I haven't seen anyone really use that, and that was a spin-off of Furry Card. Where cards were back on All Horror Werewolves as a sort of introduction post. You would give your name, your species, a couple of details like favorite book, that sort of thing. And if you look on, if you do a Google group search, because they took over all the news groups, yeah, you'll find some on there, and probably mine. But no, I haven't seen people really use them.
Yeah,
It was a different time
it was.
for how we were trying to connect. Yeah, if you know Wolf Daughters group, and
I know her YouTube channel.
yeah. But yeah, she's on a couple of Telegram groups and elsewhere. She's looking to be more a documentarian, which I love her for. When she asked me like, "Oh, can I signal boost your panel?" I'm like, "Oh yes, yeah." This, just for disclosure, this was a last minute thing that the programming guy said like, "I have an empty spot and I'm on staff, so I'm in some of the group." He's like, "Yeah, I got this 130 that's empty," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll host a Therian panel." So that's it's kind of last minute, and I'm glad Wolf Daughter. I will definitely thank her from the bottom of my heart, because if you coming here, if both of you coming here is, that makes it worth it.
Yeah, I saw a post on Instagram and I'm like, oh my god.
We were in the middle of the T-Mobile store switching our phones over, and she comes up to me and she shows me this literally lasted a week ago, and the smile on her face, and I'm like, okay, I will make this happen for you, Elizabeth.
So the only reason
I'd love to have
PineFurCon
like
was
a
this?
group of Therian friends that like live in my town. We could go out.
That's
and
what
just
she,
hang out.
that's
But
what she'd like to know, if there's any in the Massachusetts, Rhode Island area that she could come friends. Yeah.
Friendship is the same as anywhere else.
No, I know.
Yeah, and there's
Or
Therians
just
who.
that she could meet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a few who I annoy them, they annoy me. There's one Russian, so if he says hi, who there's certain friendships where you just kind of annoy each other. Not in that bad way, but it's semi-antagonistic. I'll make fun of him, he'll make fun of me. My roommate, Ben Goodrich, who's an author, who has a couple of books on the dealership, is also there, one of the earliest Therians I met. And we've been living together platonically. I don't know.
Why did you?
I've known him for years. So. And again, the coyote part of me will sometimes say things just to get a reaction. But there's a lot of Mainers. There's some Massachusetts Therians, Ontario. Actually. And if you ever get Telegram, we can certainly add you to a couple of these groups.
Why don't you download it right now?
I found wear cards, but I don't find yours and mine yet.
Yeah, mine might be under Run Red or Run Dash Red. But actually, or early on IRC, which is a chat program, some of them had character limits on names, so had to abbreviate it. You can come up. I mean, it's kind of informal, so if you had any questions or just.
Not really.
Oh.
The only Therian I know that's like out there is Erin.
Hmm.
And Erin's up in New Hampshire.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people who had to go. Erin had a panel to take care of. So again, this was kind of last minute, but a chance to let people get to know each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And hang around and just Good to chat.
Yeah,
Have fun.
telegram's the way to go, definitely.
Yeah, let me see. Looking at this. Pomeroy is in Massachusetts. Uriel. I know he's on the west. Anulf lives in.
What is it called?
Telegram.
Is it an app?
It's an app. It's a desktop program. Hi.
Sorry, I'm so late.
Oh, okay.
He can say boo.
Hi. Welcome.
When you go to download it, that's what it is. Cool, okay.
Search for it.
Yeah, or if you just, I mean, if you look me up on Twitter, you can reach out to me. At the very worst, if you leave a comment on Wolf Daughter's video, she will get it to me.
Oh, what's your Twitter?
Running Red NB. I'm trying to remember what I had for an icon on there. I changed my Telegram one to my cat. But usually I got a wolf plush called Oscar, who I usually use for most things.
NB or?
Yeah, for Nightbringer, my last name. I don't know if you wanted to. Just reach out, or if you want to get like an invitation to some of the Telegram groups, and just a way to meet some local. And last year, and we try to get together, mostly again because like in the Pacific Northwest or Colorado or North Carolina, they get together, usually camping. So like, well, we need something like that up here. So last year I said, let's get together and go to Wolf Hollow, and then get some dinner and hang out. And it was a blast. A lot of people came, had not been there before, had not seen wolves in person before. And we then hung out at this little shop. How would you, well, you know the clam box in Ipswich? It's a seafood place that literally looks like a clam box.
No, we went out to eat afterwards, but it wasn't to there. I don't remember where we went. We had spent a couple days in Salem, and then we went to there as well.
We just hung out and just chatted for like a couple of hours, and then until it was like, we could use some more food or coffee. Let's go find a Friendly's and get some ice cream. So, and that's what I was looking for this, and hopefully for next year is, again, not me telling you about Therian, not what I've seen other animal spirituality panels at cons where it's everybody stands up, introduces themselves, and then talks a bit. And the reason for that, no, if people want to run that, that's fine. You send them for the videos. I find it feels more like an AA meeting, and it takes up so much time. Like
I'm
I want
voluntary,
to
and yes,
talk to other people.
I am a werewolf.
Yeah, and everybody's just, and it's understandable. If it's your first time meeting, and there's so much you want to say, kind of like the thing is like, if you met God, whatever your God is, what would you say to them? And you'd probably have a long list. But your deity's like, I'm just processing you so you can get in. So I didn't want to have that sort of thing. I just wanted it to be free-form and mingle, and if people want to introduce themselves, that's fine. If they already know each other, that's fine as well. And hopefully next year we'll have a lot more people. That's just what I was aiming for.
Don't go up against the match game.
That started about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, the timing next year, it depends, on what's free. And at a convention, have you been to a FurCon before?
No, I
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
I don't really consider myself a furry that much, so I mean I have like original characters and stuff, but I don't have any anthropomorphic characters. So
Well, you don't have to necessarily. Furry is kind of just an appreciation of anthropomorphic. I've been a furry since the mid-90s. I still don't have a ref sheet. Just because I'm lazy as hell. I'm procrastinating on everything. My picture in the con book is pretty much this. Because Hawk, who runs programming, who's an awesome guy, he's like, I need your picture. I'm like, I don't have one. I kept putting it off. I'll just take a photo with my cool hat. And there probably is online, if you find me on Fur Affinity or elsewhere. DeviantArt. I've got one that's red
DeviantArt too, so you can
with
find them on that.
yeah, with ears. I had a bright red one that, because I wore it so much, the salt and sweat faded it. So last year I'm like, I need a new one, but they didn't have primary color, so I thought, well, okay, I'll get something that offsets the ears and wear it around when I want to. And got this from a convention because, you know,
It's cool.
masks help. Ask Batman, which actually does connect to this. A lot of people who write Batman will do it that he sees himself as he's Batman who wears a mask that is called Bruce Wayne. This is who he felt. The mask helps him get into that mindset, and that can help if you're surrounded by humanity and all this stuff, trying to hear the voices in your head that feel like this. And going in the woods helps. Meditation can help. And sometimes, like in theater, having a mask can help, or ears. But yeah, furry, there is some connection. It's mostly just an appreciation. You don't have to have an OC. You don't have to have a ref sheet. You don't have to have a fursuit. If you just like come hanging out, seeing fursuiters, going to the dealer's den buying stuff, or just watching people wearing furry ears in the game room, or even just go to the game room and play video games for a while. You know, there's no obligation. Any more of the sci-fi cons, you have to cosplay. It's what you bring to it. And, you know, if all you do is like Zootopia, that's fine. There will be people who there. You may have seen Nick Wilde floating around. There's a lot of people like dressing up as him, and I know the guy who has that, you know, orange wolf and fox head and the kind of yellow flowery shirt. Yeah, it's right from that movie. Yeah, we got a little time until the next panel. So what's the last good movie you saw?
Last good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's go see How to Train Your Dragon 3. That was pretty good.
I want to go see Dumbo.
Yeah, they added a bit to that.
I know.
Uh,
It's good. I want to go see
I
it.
was like almost intimidated.
But I just don't know if I want to cry, because
Right.
like, I cried at Dumbo, I'm like, oh.
The original?
No, this one.
Oh, the
that's-
recent, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with crying.
No.
I admit, when I saw Snoopy Come Home when I was a kid, I cried at the end. And how many of you are familiar with Snoopy Come Home?
I was just sitting
Oh, okay.
I will tear up in movies if it's a teary scene.
Yeah. Or just emotional.
Yeah, emotional.
And yeah, I think it's,
I'm an emotional guy.
what movie do you like?
What movie do I like that
Yeah.
I've seen recently? I've been watching a lot of anime. I started Dragon Pilot, which is really cute. It's about this little girl
Is that on
gets
Netflix?
eaten by, yeah.
Okay.
Gets eaten by the dragon, but I guess that means she can fly with it now, and it's very, very steeped in Japanese traditions and disguising dragons as jet planes. It's very interesting.
Eaten by a dragon.
But he has to ingest her for her to fly because she's using his internal organs to control him.
That,
Yeah.
that's
Well, I have to
beyond.
look
And then
that
he
one
sets
up.
her up
That
after
sounds like
they're
anime
done.
to me.
It's
So
very
Liz, are you
interesting.
over 18?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good, okay.
Believe it or
Because-
And then he
not,
spits her up after.
in less than 2 weeks, nobody knows it by looking at her, she's gonna be 21.
Awesome. You look a little younger. Take that as
That's
a
why
compliment.
everybody always says she
Yeah.
looks like she's 16. But nope, she's gonna be
You
21.
get so much fun getting carded.
It's not R-rated though. It's just weird. It's just Japanese weird. You know what I mean? Like there's
Well, no, not the R-rated. I didn't want to bring up like vor.
Right. Well, that is a topic, but it
That's-
was.
That's one of those topics I've never,
I
I
don't
can't
really
wrap my head
understand.
around
Me
why.
neither.
Why?
Yeah, no, I've got some friends who, not to get too TMI. Have you heard of vor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But like with anything else, no kink shaming. Everyone has different interests. So, and whether it's in anime or other stuff, so somebody must have liked it if Netflix is showing
Right,
a couple
exactly.
seasons.
Curious. Hello.
Are you curious or getting ready for the next panel?
I'm just seeing what's going on in here.
Oh, okay. We're having a discussion of dragon-related movies. That's where we're at now.
Okay.
Who's telling us about Dragon Prince?
Dragon Pilot.
Dragon Pilot.
Prince is another one that's funny,
Okay.
but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it's apparently a dragon eats a person and
Then the
you
person
flies
flies
them
it.
from inside.
Yeah, it's pretty
It
neat.
sounds like one that, my personal, like, I still love Rubber the Tire. You ever seen Rubber the Tire?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that
I
was one
just saw
of
the
those
review
cheesy
on that.
B-movie
Yes.
ones.
It
Yeah.
wasn't called that, what was it called?
It was just no, it is called Rubber.
What was it called?
Just
Oh,
Rubber,
yeah.
yeah.
It's got a little tire
It goes
that
around
goes
blowing,
around,
and
and all of a sudden
sometimes
it'll
kills
shake,
people and
and the
murders
person
people.
in front of it will just blow up. It's the stupidest.
Yeah,
I think
telling
they were
them
try- I think they're
it's
trying
I
to out-
introduced her to it, I watched it one time at a friend's, I said it came home, I said, you have to watch this one.
I think they're trying to out-dumb Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, this is
It's just to find the
That's hard to
silliest
do.
thing out there. Yeah.
tired, oh,
But no, they're fun. And that's the thing is,
On fire, huh?
everybody has different movies they like.
yeah.
And I got friends who they love disaster movies, the cheesy ones, like the 10.5s where the earthquake is rocking Seattle and the Space Needle is falling and the guy on the bicycle is biking away and you keep everyone in the audience is yelling, turn left or right 2 feet.
Yes.
But no, he's going and the needle
Stays
whacks
right
him. Yeah. What some call the Prometheus school of running away from things. If you see
Horror
Yeah.
movies, they always run upstairs, like into the attic or down, like where they can't escape.
No, to be fair, I grew up loving Indiana Jones. When he was chased by the boulder, there was literally nowhere else for him to go, and it blocked the tunnel entrance. He had a reason for running forward.
Exactly, not this way. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of dragon stuff out there,
Right,
and
yeah.
maybe it's probably because of the effects. And there's a lot of people who do identify as dragon, and there's so much media out there for it. So.
So just thinking about Therian and bring it back to the topic where people like feel ghost, phantom ears, phantom tail. When you're
Yes.
thinking of dragons and mythical creatures, how do you think, like, how do people know what a dragon feels like?
I
How do
think
you think
some of it
people perceive
is media depiction. The same with mythical, like I know somebody who was identifying as like wild man Sasquatch type of thing. With dragon, and there's a lot of people on, not to speak specifically for dragons, I know a bunch, Telegram, Twitter, but I think there are some elements of like snout, wings, tail, maybe claws, and maybe a sense of scales. Like for some of us, fur. We'd love to be more furry, unless we like swimming and we should go water. With them, and I think there's people get into like latex outfits. Like there's the regular fursuits you see around there. There's people who do kind of leather, and then there's latex because they like the feel of it. It's a tactile thing. If you're on DeviantArt,
She is.
Orion Scriber, I believe is their name. There was an artist who several years ago did a webcomic called There, which was about therians and dealt with some phantom shift stuff. Like when you're walking through a doorway and you feel like your wing hit it. Or just when you're walking and you can feel your tail moving. Let me verify if that was it. If not, bug me later, I'll link. I try to signal boost it because and this person has identified more gender neutral and not exactly dragon, sort of, kind of like those little kind of wing fins off to the ears, sort of a lizardy thing. But they put a lot of their stuff on DeviantArt, and as soon as when you read it, you're like, yeah, I sometimes feel that way. Daydreaming and suddenly you're in the woods, or again, just the phantom tails. But yeah, there, THERI, space THERE, on DeviantArt. I think they have a Patreon. But yeah, I would like to see more Therian-related webcomics. Yes, let me see if I can bring, if I bookmarked it on here. I'll bookmark my DeviantArt.
Find it.
feel like Tommy Mask, if that's the right one.
Yeah, I'm following the site if I can bring it up and find. There we go.
You know, it's funny. Not 10 years ago, this wouldn't be a thing right now.
Yeah, we would have had
Looking
everything. Oh, man, yeah, 15 years ago, I was telling, like, Novar, who is our IT director, who's setting up all the computer stuff, yeah, 10, 15 years ago, it would have been the big terminals, LAN
Yep.
connected, mostly people checking their mail. Oh, Frame a Cloud
Oh, cool.
is their name, and let's see if I can bring up an example. Their stuff. Oh, please tell me they pull everything. Send me a message. I will do research and try to track them down and make sure that they have their stuff online.
Get a link to them somewhere.
I couldn't find it on Instagram.
Oh, I'm not on Instagram. I
Download- Did you download
And a
the,
Twitter.
do you have Twitter? I don't think you have Twitter, do you?
So let's set her
Do you
up.
have Telegram
You
now?
just
Did you
download
Oh, I'm on.
Telegram.
Well, I'm on
Telegram. You can
DeviantArt.
get into the PineFurCon chat, at least.
Yeah, I mean, like if you message like PineFurCon on Twitter or anything like that, it's like, hey, who's that annoying person?
Wait, what's your DVR?
I'm part of the Coyote, so yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, your DVR?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me bring it up. I don't want to open the app. Let me get to mine. I'm not logged in. I'm not logged
That's
in.
what you're.
Yeah, running. Let's go to Weasel account.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're all over the place.
So, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I used my pony character. He's a little pony from the generator.
So now,
Yeah,
what's
that's
your-
me. A lot of
yeah.
it's photos of.
She's
from
Terra
conventions.
right on that.
Yeah, and that links to everything else. So yeah, once you message me, bug me, you'll find my Telegram, Twitter, other stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in joining the Telegram groups for others to talk to, or link through Twitter, the people I follow are a balance between furry and therian, and a couple of really good webcomic artists, and not really many other people. Mostly just a matter of time. So. But yeah, I will try to, if Orion has polled theory there, I'm going to bug them to bring it back, or at least get allow me to download them and share them, because they were really good. The only other funny webcomic I could think of werewolf related was Buster Wild,
Ah, yes.
and because everyone here is over 18, this, Scott Zellman, he did this about 20 years ago. And it was a middle-aged guy who, at night, would turn into a gay werewolf and hit the club scene. And the thing was, yeah, there was a great one where he's like, there's like, I smell a straight person. And they're like, really? You can tell? He's like, what do lesbian? It's a lot of funny stuff, and it's mostly about the gay scene. Just using a werewolf as a character. And some of it is, you look at it, he's dealing with sort of somebody who's repressing their gay side with werewolf as a metaphor, and a lot of humor. And later, I was tracking him down because the site he hosted it on, Fur Nation, went away. The person stopped running because they couldn't afford it. But the rest of it's like he wasn't intending to do furry. He's like, I'm just using werewolf as a character, and then all of a sudden, all these furry people are like messaging me saying they love it. I bought the collection, he sold it through Amazon. I'm like, I need to have the book version of this. It was pretty good. I was reminded of one of the things, just getting the idea of metaphor. Wolves of Cromer is in a similar vein. It was a British movie, opening narration by Boy George, about a group of werewolves living in the woods, and the simple costuming. They just wore a thick fur black coat with a tail attached. And that was representing they're gay. One of them gets interested in a girl in the village. And the coat comes off, and this is almost like Grimm's fairy tale kind of thing, you pull off the skin. So it was dealing with gay identity using werewolves as a metaphor, which was really good. And some would say, werewolves do have a metaphor, man's inherent bestial nature, the Hulk, Jekyll and Hyde, that sort of thing, which can make it hard, I think, for some to get into understanding it is, and especially when you don't know much, the internet today is helping, but in the older days when all books on werewolves were medieval stuff, or stupid horror books, and you thought is, people who feel they have a connection to an animal are monsters. Well, crap. Just as I have an attraction to somebody of the same gender, and everybody's telling me that's wrong. And when you hear other people saying, no, it's not, there is a dissenting viewpoint. Yeah, you're not a monster. It's not weird. You're not, your therapist isn't going to prescribe you medication for it, hopefully. That said, there is clinical lycanthropy. When it gets too far, there are reports of people who mindsets, just as some who think they're Napoleon, there are some who think they are wolves to acting out, and it is like actually a clinical condition. But if you talk to a therapist, they will make a difference. Somebody who is nuts versus any therapist is going to look at this and say, yeah, you guys are fine. There's nothing wrong with you. But
Yeah, the line always crosses with murder. So if you go out and eat somebody like they're praying, it doesn't look good in society.
And that's
Doesn't look good in society.
it's that would be neurological. You look at the historical reports of people who they did go out and kill, and was there something else going on? You're a medieval peasant, maybe you eat something with a hallucinogen in it, some bad mushrooms, or something goes wrong. Yeah, they're gonna think werewolf. There's a dead cow, must be a witch. Somebody biting somebody's neck is a werewolf, is a vampire. But yeah, actually I think probably if anyone tried making an accusation about werewolves and murder, I'd say, all humans kill each other.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
This has helped.
Anything you'd like to contribute?
Oh, yeah, I feel bad coming in late, lunch went out over panel.
I know that's like,
Like, I was,
my stomach's
not my, the biggest reason I'd come down is because I wanted to learn more. Because the stuff I've heard described, it kind of fits me with my squirrel side. I don't just have the squirrel first. I hoard food. I don't carefully rotate it through so it doesn't rot.
I say really, it's not just
Yeah.
wolf. So
I'm as diurnal as a squirrel. I'm up with the sun whether I like it or not. Which was hard when you're on registration till 11 o'clock at night. And you're wide awake at 5. So,
That would help me. I just started a nanny job that I have to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. That would help me, and I'm more of a nocturnal person, so I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to be doing this, but I'm going to try it.
I'm not into crowds. I will shop at times when other people aren't normally around, so I don't have to deal with the crowds. So always keep an eye on where the exits are. It just fits in. So,
Yeah,
I don't know how else to describe it.
I
That's
used
what
to have so much trouble going to the Wilscombe Mall. It was freaking like there's way too many people, and it took a long time to not feel the stress. Working retail kind of helped to that, doing so many Black Fridays, and learning to also the idea with werewolf rage, which you wouldn't know about yours well. When you get angry, working retail I think may have helped me with that. Is customer service trains you to keep some of it inside. So if you're the type of person to tell a customer what you think of them, again, I don't want to say anything too naughty for the camera, but yeah, there are some people who aren't suited to customer service. Some people are, and I don't know whether I'm naturally somebody suited to that sort of thing, and customer service is great until you got to work with the customers or managers. But you do learn to interact with people, to understand their concerns as a customer. This is good ideal situation is what do they want, what problems might they have, if they're just looking for something or they're looking for a refund. That translates so well to working conventions. And part of the reason I'm on staff is, like, going to a lot of the FurCons, I get kind of bored. All my friends are off doing other stuff. There's no one to hang out with. I'm not interested in half the panels. And a few friends have been bugging me to join. Last year I'm hanging out here. All my friends are on staff, so I'm mentioning, hey, I could help. Yes, they grabbed me, threw me to volunteering, and then 2 people said, we want you on staff, so I'm helping with registration, where my skills working with computers, data entry, interacting with people, it just feels right. I get, my dopamine fix is being helpful and getting things working right. And, that's just, is that part of the wolf? Is that part of the coyote? Is that just part of the human side that I don't disregard? Again, some people don't like seeing themselves as human. They would rather, if there was an opportunity to turn into a wolf or a fox and go run off in the woods, they would never say bye. They would just go. And this may just be having asked myself these questions for years, why do I feel this way? Why, assuming that I'm not crazy and this isn't just neural diversity, why am I here as a multi-species entity? Am I here for a reason? And some of the philosophy books I read that, maybe we're here just to have fun. Our higher astral selves want to take a vacation in 3-dimensional space, or we're here to learn something, or we're here to help. Erin would tell you, she deals with this sort of thing, is why was she born in a specific body instead of another? And I'd like to, there's the people she's touched with her panel, with her music, with being a very prominent therian out there, that, like, if you're searching, you're probably going to find a lot of stuff about her that helps so many people. And, maybe we're here to help other people achieve their destinies. Or, who knows? That's getting to the philosophy side of things, but.
I want to go to the concert.
It is 2:30, so.
So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, and again, if you want to learn more or just meet other people, reach out to me on Telegram, Twitter, whatever the hell it is.
Maybe they'll find you hanging around
and-
a little more.
Yeah, hope you'll come back next year.
We need to get back to the hotel for a little bit anyway to take the doggy out. The doggy has to come with us.